review of American Sign Language principles of videotape. There are many, many things that the videotape will help you with. First of all, it's very important that every time you make a sign, that your hand shape are clear and precise. Also, you will notice that signs have specific palm orientation, whether it's up or down, and so forth. You will also notice that every sign has a specific location. And you will notice that every sign has a specific movement. All four things are not accidental, but there's a reason for all of these things. Also, I encourage that your finger spelling is very clear. Why? Because research shows that about 59% of finger spelling is clear. Can you imagine 41% missing or sloppy? I want you to pride yourself on the clarity of your finger spelling. It is a point of a videotape that your facial expression should be appropriate. Facial expression really matters. Also, you need to learn to make good use of your signage space. Almost all signs happen inside the signage space. Your signage space will become larger when you're signing to an audience and become smaller when talking one-to-one. American Sign Language make use of spatial relationship, like side by side, in front of, one behind the other, and so on. When you're talking about more than one thing, it is important to use what I call indexing. Also, when you use verbs, it's very important to use directionality, which way things are happening from one person to another person. A very important part of American Sign Language is what I call grammatical signals, the use of non-manual indicators like facial expression, the use of a tongue, and the eyes, the eyebrows, and so on. Numbers must be incorporated in American Sign Language with time and with people and things like that. Also, I'm not going to emphasize on this videotape, but the use of classifiers are special signs that represent people, places, or things, or can describe people, places, and things. There is a separate videotape on classifiers. And finally, conceptual accuracy, which is not the point of a videotape, but American Sign Language is a conceptual language. Every sign represents a specific concept. Work on your fluency first, and don't worry about speed. Speed will take care of itself later on. You also need to work on rhythm and pace. Go at a consistent speed. American Sign Language is almost like an artist. An artist will draw the biggest thing first, like the sky, clouds, then smaller things, houses, the smaller things, people. Larger, down, down, down to small. American Sign Language is like that also. For example, class finished, we go, why eat hamburger? The first large thing is class. Then finish, what happened? We go, and then small hamburger eat. So you will notice American Sign Language paint the biggest picture first and then go down smaller, smaller, smaller. Now, when I'm signing, I'm using what we call PSE. It's called Pidgin Sign English. I'm not using ASL. Why? Because PSE is a combination of English word order and conceptual accuracy in American Sign Language. However, it is important you notice when I give you the actual example, I will turn my voice off, but I will show you ASL. All right, let's go on. The first thing I want you to notice about American Sign Language, notice that every sign has 5 parameters, 5 specific things. Every sign has a hand shape, orientation, location, movement, and facial expression. These 5 parameters are important. Parameters are important. And all signs have these 5 parameters. Let's examine each one by one. First, hand shape. Research shows in general there are 7 hand shapes. 7. First of all, we call that B hand shape. It could represent things like a shelf, window, and door. The second one we call fifth hand shape. Nut, peanut, girl. The third hand shape, power, strike. The fourth hand shape, none. The fifth hand shape, cup, glass, column. The sixth hand shape, like think, me, you. And the last one, father, fine, football. So in general, most signs share these 7 hand shapes. Also, every sign requires a specific hand shape. You just cannot make them up. There's a reason for each hand shape. You just cannot choose them by random. But one hand shape, as you just saw, can be used for a variety of signs like girl, peanut, and so on. Open hand shape, football, mother, fine, movie. A closed hand shape, like no, please, enjoy, and so on. Another thing I want you to notice about sign is what we call palm orientation. That is the position of a palm during the projection of a sign. For example, children, palm is down, thing, palm is up. Palm would be up, down, left, right. If you use the wrong palm orientation, you will have the wrong sign. So be careful about the palm orientation. Here, what, fail, help, thing. But palm is down, rain, spread, children. Mother, father, fine, palm is facing right or left. Every sign has a specific location. The location inside the signage space. Every sign has a specific location. It gives the sign meaning. On the shoulder, head, or hand, like church, burden. Wish, cousin. The movement is how the hand moves. That's why it's almost impossible to look at a book and try to figure out how to make the sign. Why? Because a book is like a snapshot, at a specific point of time. Signs have speed, movement, intensity, modification, so many variables you can't learn from a book. So every sign has a precise movement or a lack of movement. Signs can share movement like please and sorry. All signs are made up of a limited number of units that are connected in specific ways. We call that structure of American Sign Language. So you will have a feel later on if a sign feels right or wrong. You will learn whether to make a sign clockwise or counterclockwise. That will happen with experience. You will notice there are many variations in signs: north, south, east, and west. And inside a state, there are their variations. And then we have homemade signs. But variation north, south, east, west. State variation, they still follow the 5 parameters. And this one is really the most important. I call them basic expressions. Why? Because research by psychologists named Melly, Konya, and Austin Harvard show that in communication, only 7% of our total communication is in the meaning of words. 38% involve facial expression, and 55% is non-verbal, or what we call body language. So we will focus on what we call the non-manual markers like the eye, eyebrow, mouth, head, and the nose. That's why deaf people will watch your face more than your hand. Watching the face will help you catch the meaning and the feeling behind the sign. Okay, the first part of the videotape, we will examine sentence structure. Sentence structure in American Sign Language is flexible like in English. In English, we can say, John saw Peter. John saw Peter. You can take John and Peter and move them around and still mean the same thing. How? Peter was seen by John. So please don't learn from your ASL teacher and then go meet deaf people and find out that they sign different and run back and criticize your teacher. No, American Sign Language is very flexible. For example, in the English sentences, she is mad. There are 3 ways you can sign that. Or what about the English sentences? It is beautiful. So you have 3 choices. It doesn't matter which way you use it. Now, have you noticed? I did not sign is, am, are. Why? Because American Sign Language has a different way of taking care of helping verbs in English. You will notice during this videotape there are many words that you may have learned in Sign English or not used in American Sign Language. Why? Because facial expression and body language will take care of it. You will be amazed to know that we can take up to 20 words of English in a sentence and sign it in a beautiful, clear way using one sign and one classifier. Really, you can. The second principle of American Sign Language I want to review with you is that sentences that have identifying noun can repeat the pronoun. It's easier to show than to explain it. In the English sentences, he is a father.